Has this ever happened to you? Look at this absolute... Ah! It turns out jumping is the worst thing to do in this scenario. Instead, just running away is the solution. Just be careful not to run off of a cliff whilst doing it. Fall Guys is an intense, epic platforming battle royale, and it is rapidly becoming one of my favourite games of all time. It's based on assault course shows like Takeshi's Castle, Total Wipeout, and Ninja Warrior, to name a few. And it's just insane, I love it! But it is not an easy game to win. There are 25 minigames currently in the game, with more to be added. And I've got tips for each minigame, so sit back and learn from the guy who's played the beta enough to know what works and what doesn't. Mostly what doesn't. We're starting with Dizzy Heights. Incidentally, these aren't in any particular order. The best advice I can give you is to run with the direction that the floor spins. Running the other way is only going to slow you down, unless you need to save yourself. On the split path, take the right path, as it's quicker due to how everything aligns at the end of it. Oh, and don't forget to jump at the end, or you'll, yeah, that. Seesaw is a massive balancing act. Thank you, I think my work here is done. Okay, fine. If you're at the front immediately, try to stick ahead and don't lose that pace. It should hopefully be smooth sailing to the finish. If you're not ahead, stick with a crowd or you won't be able to get on a seesaw. It's all about learning when you actually can jump on one. Also, if it's at a super steep angle, never jump. That'll send you straight into the pit. Don't panic if you're far behind though. Most minigames you can still win even from far behind. Never give up and get that victory. Ah, luck incarnate. Pick a door, any door. Gain a concussion when it's wrong. Try again, break your nose. Wow, this really isn't your day. Seriously, just pick doors and hope for the best. If you're not at the front, you're gonna see the path to take, so unless everyone's stupidly lucky, you can still very easily catch up. At the final door, be sure to dive so you can try to get through the crowd. I've also heard if you land mid-fall on someone or on door debris, you can dive again, which will help you get forward, so give it a go, it might work for you. Jump Club and Jump Showdown. Jump Club is pretty straightforward, try to follow the slower spinny thing at the top so you are always in open space to survive. As for Jump Showdown, it's much harder and certainly more intense. It's the final round after all. Be aware that you can make it to another platform by diving if necessary. It's not easy, but you can make it. Good luck with the win! Egg Scramble is our first team game, and sadly it's not always going to be easy because it depends on your team to know certain strategies. But here's a solid hard-boiled plan. After the middle eggs have been collected, steal from the team with the least. At the start, throw the middle eggs towards your base rather than into it so that someone else on your team can get them. As long as not everyone does that, of course. If you are the team with the least, get back and defend. Having only a few to go out and collect, ideally you want at least 2 defenders, one in the basket and one outside. Stand just outside of the basket and grab people who run out with your eggs, so they will hopefully drop the eggs and you can throw them back in. If you see a teammate doing this and you are out collecting eggs, just throw the eggs to them to shorten your trip. Because at this point people know and utilise the steal from the loser strategy to be a winning one, they won't necessarily know how to deal with this one. Yet. With Rock and Roll, keep an eye on the other team's percentage. If you're last, have someone go ahead to block the ball of the losing team that isn't you. If another team is blocking your ball, jump underneath it to get it over their heads. Also try to grab the people blocking your ball while other teammates work on rolling it. Tail Tag, Team Tail Tag, and Royal Fumble. These 3 are incredibly tense and it could all change at the very last second, if you're lucky, or unlucky enough, depending on which side of the scale you're on. Just make sure you're always moving. For Team Tail Tag, if you have the tail, using the conveyor belt is always handy to chase down people or to get away. But if you are the one with the tail, I recommend utilising the hammers on the corners. They can propel you quite a distance to escape. On individual tail tag, if you have a tail, run around the central column under the ramps. Usually people can't see you as long as they don't have the names on. If you don't have a tail, run around the central column mashing the grab button. Usually people don't see this coming. As for Royal Fumble, usually there will be a set of people chasing after the one with the tail. Try to work out where they'll go and head them off. There's no easy way of saying it, it's just going to be a tense finale. Better clench up. Full Mountain is pretty self-explanatory. Sprint to the finish and try not to see your life flash before your eyes as you're crushed by a giant bull. Try to run with the direction of the swinging hammers so you don't get slowed down, and if you're super lucky you might even get pushed forward a little. Hexagon! If there's a free hexagon right at the starting platform, try to reach it as it gives you a little more time above everyone else. Otherwise, just jump from hexagon to hexagon. Pay attention to the shadows of people above you just in case they drop, and make holes for them if you can. But if you end up falling quickly, know that it isn't the end yet. It's very easy to fall down multiple layers at a time if there's nothing below where you fall. Just don't be that person. Fruit shoot. I recommend jumping downhill to get ahead as it gives you a little more of a momentum boost. Then drop onto the conveyor and stick to the side, and never jump on the conveyor. That's going to send you on a one-way trip to the start. Oh, and don't assume you're safe right at the end. Your beam can get bopped. Block Party's a pretty fun dodging game. If you're gonna fall off, try to dive out of the way of the wall or back onto the platform. It might be just what you need to survive. Also, be wary of those who grab you. They can force you into the path of the wall with very little time to save yourself. Hit Parade! Make sure you jump to the centre of the beams, or you'll fall. Not that that's actually the worst thing that can happen, I mean, you don't lose too much time. On revolving doors, stick with a group so that the door gets pushed your way. If you are behind, just weave through. When it gets to the end of the revolving doors, try to dive over the crowd, and pay attention to the shadows of the wrecking balls. Dive if they're coming for you. Finally, stick to the side of the slime hill to avoid the anal beads. They will definitely slow you down. Ah, whirligig. Love this one. Get knocked by the starting spinners. It won't always get you ahead, but it will always be fun. If you can't get onto the bench platforms, just climb the wall with grab. It is faster in some cases. Next, run between the space between two propellers, they can't hit you there. And finally, always take the middle path. The risk is almost always worth the reward, and you can get pushed onto a safe platform anyway. Time the spinners so you can dive to the next platform, and don't go when the final propeller is there, just wait. Jinxed is essentially a massive game of tag, but with cute bean zombies. Get on the spinny things to avoid jinxers, jump off when they arrive. If you are jinxed, take some time to stop and look for unjinxed people, often at the edges or on the spinny things. Gate crash. Learn the timing. Duh. No, but really, at the end I usually like to aim for the door that's rising so it's descending when I get there. Diving can also help you get through the doors just in time on any of them, so good luck with that. With rollout, find out who is a grabber and avoid them. People have different strategies with this, but I prefer to just switch between two rotating platforms on the side. Also remember, you've actually got a lot of leeway before you fall, so don't be afraid to take risks. Perfect Match is the only memory or logic game. Whilst the platforms have gaps, until platforms disappear you can't actually fall through them, so don't worry about that. If you can't remember where one is, go where everyone else goes, it's usually right. If someone grabs you, don't move. That'll probably push you off. Slime Climb is probably my favourite race event. When you know what you're doing, take all the risks you want, but if you're still learning, don't rush. You will almost always qualify if you don't fall off. There are shortcuts, but more often than not, that will get you killed. Just take your time. With Hoarders, steal from either the team with the most balls, they can't protect them all, or the team with the least people protecting their balls. Make sure you push your balls all the way into the indent so it's harder to get out. This isn't as sexual as it sounds, I swear. Ah, football. No, sorry, full ball. Ideally, you want two people in defence, but in the smaller game, just one will have to do. One further forward and one right in the goal as a last line of defence. Sometimes two balls will come at your goal, so try to figure out who should be left and who should be on the right. If the ball is coming to the goal, don't run out. Wait for it and knock it away. If you are diving at the ball, make sure you don't dive it into an opponent because they will dive it back at a greater momentum than you can deal with. Always dive into an open space if you can help it. When a goal is scored, try to get to the middle for a new ball. If you time it right and the space is there, you can dive it right into the goal. If you spot an opponent doing this, grab him. With Tiptoe, don't be a hero. Stick to the very centre of a block so you don't get knocked off. Use logic. Sometimes there is only one possible place the path could be, and I believe if the platform is jittering, it's always fake. The final dash is vital, so don't fall off during that. Don't forget to jump and dive at the end. Also, at the beginning, the path isn't going to be revealed, so just wing it, you never know, you might get lucky enough. And finally, Hoopsie Daisy, easily my favourite team game. If you are not near a ring, make your way to open space. Usually up the edge ramps, one will probably appear there before you get there. Figure out when someone else is closer, and if they are closer, don't bother going for it. There are gold rings, but you have to time your dive carefully. If there's a ring that's lower down than where you are, you can dive in midair instead of jumping for it because it's a little easier for a precision jump. Also, watch out for the shadows of the rings to see where they will show up. But that's it. I guess the final tip I have is to have fun. This game is awesome. Just enjoy it, even if you fail. It's not about winning or losing. It's about falling over. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like, subscribed, share the video around. I also have a Twitch, a Twitter, and a Patreon if you would like to support me and the channel. And also, you know, click that notification bell. It all really helps, and I very much appreciate it. I love this game. I think you can probably tell that. I want to thank my friend Emil for helping me write this, because we've both been playing the game a lot through our Party Hard series. For those who don't know, we are playing through every single party game ever made in release order, although new games, they take priority and they come immediately. But yeah, we're going to be doing this series for like 10 years, because there are over 200 games. So yeah, there's a lot. But yes, thank you so much, Emil. I really appreciate you helping write this. And yeah, in the comments, I'd love to know, what's your favourite minigame? And also, since they are adding more, what else would you like to see from them? There's a ton of things they could do, and it's only going to get better as time goes on. But yes, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.